Hi 6th grade students, this video will take you through your melt and freeze fold it. So follow along and make sure you include everything that you see either in this video or on your instruction sheet. So the very first thing that you should have done is set up your piece of paper. And if you haven't, we'll set it up together right now. You should have a piece of paper and have the 3 ring holes at the top and have it the long way. The very first thing you're going to do is fold the sides into the center circle. So you'll fold one side so when it folds down it hits the middle of your center ring, and then fold the other side the same way. So you have 2 different sides. One side is going to all be about melting, and then the other side will be about freezing. So you're going to title the side that you see here, the left side, melt, and the right side, freeze. You will also draw 2 boxes with an arrow in between on each side. Go ahead and do this. In the 2 boxes, you're going to be drawing your particles. So the first side is all about melting. So you'll draw the 2 particles for melting. So remember, what is melting? A change from a what to a what? Draw your particles. Press pause to do this. Press play when you're done. The next one is your freeze particles. So you'll fill in the 2 boxes with the particles during freezing. Once you have this, you can go ahead and open up to the inside of your book, which looks like this, or will look like this. On your left side, you're still going to have it all about melting on this flap. The middle is going to be our compare and contrast circle. We've done this before with our skills of a scientist left side. And then the right side will again be all about freezing. Go ahead and set up the middle of your paper to look like this if you haven't done so already, and make sure you number where you see numbers so you remember to put something there. Press pause to do this, press play when you're done. Alright, the very first thing we're going to do is on the left inside flap. Again, that's all about melting. You're going to write an example of melting using this sentence frame. You have to use complete sentences. So it says an example of melting is, and then explain why that is an example. So think of something that melts and explain why. Use your definition from your notes to help you explain. Press pause to do this, press play when you're done. You're going to do the same thing for freeze. So on the right hand side, where you have titled freeze, you're going to write an example of freezing. An example of freezing is, you'll fill in your example and then explain why. Remember, use your definition from your notes to help you explain why. Press pause to do this, press play when you're done. Alright, so you should have 2 sentences, one about melting, one about freezing. Now we're going to work on the inside, our compare and contrast donut. We're going to start right here on the melt side of the circle. So you're going to write things that are only true for melting. So use your notes about melting and write 3 things, 3 different things that only apply to melting, that only happen during the melting process. So it cannot be true about freezing and it cannot be true about both. Only things that are about the process of melting. Use complete sentences to do this. There should be 3 things. You have them from your notes. Press pause to fill that in. Press play when you're done. Then you will complete the right side, the freeze side, the same way you did for melt, but this time for freeze. So you're writing 3 sentences about things that are only true for freezing. Again, you have these in your notes should be things that only are true for freezing, not the same and not about melting, only from your freeze notes. Press pause to do this, press play when you're done. The last step is to write a sentence about how melting and freezing are similar. So there's one reason why they are similar, and it might not be straight from your notes, but you're just going to have to really think about, okay, what happens during melting and freezing, and what do they have in common? Write this sentence frame when you compare the two of them. Melting and freezing are similar because they both. Look at your definitions, compare them, and try to find a similarity between melting and freezing and write it here in that sentence. Press pause to do this, press play when you're done. Alright, so you should have sentences here, or one sentence here, 3 sentences here, 1 in the middle, 3 right here, and 1 on the outside. The last thing you need to do is use color. So you're going to use color, but you're going to be strategic about it. So use your increase and decrease colors. Use both your increase and decrease colors. So where you think you should use red, you should use red, and where you think you should use blue, use blue. Once you have everything and it looks just like this and it's colored, you're done. Make sure your name is on it and turn it in. Good luck!